Hello and welcome to the Prosperity Portal podcast. I'm your host, Jill Alana, and I'm here to support you in everything you need to prosper in health, wealth, and relationship. I'm obsessed with everything manifestation, soul path, intuition, somatic embodiment healing, and I'm looking forward to supporting you in liberating to a life of love and luxury. True empowerment, true sovereignty, and aligned soul manifestation. I'm the founder of Jill Alana International, Jai Activations, and Jai Breathwork. And without further ado, let's go to the show and get you resourced in everything pro your spirit. Hello, beautiful soul. I am briefly interrupting this episode to let you know about my Gifted Prosperity Masterclass. In this masterclass, I give you the science behind the areas that you're not yet prospering at your potentials and the missing keys of actually how to shift that to unlock your potential, your soul's purpose, and your prosperity from the inside out, so you can have sovereignty in your life, in your finances, in your business, in your work, in your relationships, and actually create a life of freedom and liberate to a life of love and luxury. And it's free, so definitely listen to it if you feel the pull, of course. That will be in the link in the show notes. Hello, beautiful souls. I am having one of my dear sisters, Anastasia, on today, and we are going to be talking about liberating your legacy and why trauma happens, why we choose it on a soul level. Hello, Anastasia. Hello. Okay, I'm on a detox, so if you're like, what is she drinking?
Hello. So good to see you, Jill.
It's so good to see you. Oh my goodness. Okay, welcome. So this is Anastasia. Do you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
100%. So first of all, thank you so much for having me on here. I hope that the background noise is not too much, not disturbing. Actually this is very on brand. So I'm the co-creator of Generation Nomads. I'm running this business and brand with my husband, Tomer. So if you're following us on Instagram, you will see him around as well. What we do is we help other freedom-obsessed souls to create a business that is not only creating the life that they actually feel obsessed and excited to live, but actually also really leave an impact and a legacy in the world. So why I'm saying this is so much on brand is because I'm right now connecting here with you on this beautiful conversation from a co-working space, because we are like, that's what I love about this community is kind of, we're all over the world. So I'm calling in from Portugal, where we live since last year, and it's already a dark time here. So I had to kind of escape the house a little bit, escape my toddler and make this work, but I'm so excited to be here and have this conversation.
I'm so happy to have you here. Aren't you having another little nugget soon?
Yes, it's on the way, so you don't see it. But we're like kind of getting into the countdown, and it's so crazy. Expecting our second girl, and that was like a little interesting reminder of how apparently I am here meant to actually create the next generation of really girls, empowered girls that are really standing up for their truth, living their legacy, claiming freedom as the birthright. So I'm like, wow, this is so beautiful how personal life as well as business merge, and I just see kind of another reconfirmation of the work that I'm here to do. So I'm so excited also to dive in with you today and kind of talk about how I think of, soul paths and how it has been showing in my personal life and in the work that I do.
Awesome. Yes, it's all connected. Isn't it crazy? And like, I know you're already such a good mom, and I'm so excited for your next little nugget. Okay, for those of you who are new, I'm Jill Lana. I'm a shamanic prosperity mentor. I help people alchemize trauma and connect it to their soul path and use that, the alchemization of that as the path, the portal, because it is a portal. There's lessons in this, and it's the portal to our potentials, to our purpose, our soul's purpose, and to our highest levels of prosperity, health, wealth, relationships. So that's me in a nutshell. So Anastasia and I met at a conference, and we started talking, and literally like full body hookups, like within the first minute. And we're like, we should do a transmission. And we were talking about the soul path and trauma and how it is happening for us. And some people will be a trigger. Well, your triggers are gold, but our traumas are truly here because there's lessons in them. And what we go through, and I know this is a big part of your work, would love to hear your words, but what we go through, the challenges we go through are initiation. They are literally carving us into the version of ourselves that is a match to what we desire. I love how you talked about power and claiming what we want, and not settling, and not just like giving away like our bodies, our time, our energy, because we're programmed into that fawn response, and our true power, the power of the feminine, which has been so shamed and so suppressed, because it's the most, I believe, the most powerful energy on the planet, is really the key to like creating the life that we desire. And we have to be the ones to step into that. And often these challenges in our life are showing us where we've betrayed ourselves, where we have dropped our love, like where we're tolerating things that aren't of our highest. So yeah, I'll pass it to you for a second. Love you to speak more on your work with that and why you think it is so important.
Yes. So, and I just love this mini introduction that you gave. And indeed, when we connected, we kind of felt this instant, oh, yes, this is, we both, like, I felt like feel this true in our core, in our essence, that this is where actually our biggest power, like our challenges, our setbacks, really become the biggest power that we're here to channel and actually really bring into the world. So the clients that we're working with are new and rising coaches. They themselves had a transformation that was so powerful that they lived through, that they feel like, oh, I cannot not put this out into the world. It changed my life so profoundly that I feel like I am here to actually pass on the lesson. So what I really believe, and what is really core to our brand, is we believe we're given the lessons that we're here meant to experience and to study, so that we can actually fully internalize them, embody them, master them, and actually pass on into the world, and by that truly leave a legacy, not only to make a real tangible income for impact for other people, but also create the life and the liberation. So that's why I love also liberate your legacy. Really the liberation that allows us to operate as our most authentic, most powerful self.
Yes.
So this is kind of the core. Yeah, go ahead.
Authenticity, it's the highest embodied frequency. Okay, wait, can we talk about this for a sec? You just ignited so much in what you said. Like, this work works through us. That's something I always say, and that's exactly what you just explained. Like, we have to go through the soul lessons. And I was chatting with a client yesterday, and she had all these health issues for like 7 years, Lyme's disease, chronic illness. The root cause essentially was she was getting benefits off having this, so she didn't want to like quote heal from it. And so when we got that, I've been working with her for a number of years, firstly on that, and then I'm helping her launch her business. And she was like, why did I have to go through all this, like, a while back? And I was like, well, you went through this so you can guide other people through it. And this is something that I see with entrepreneurs. Like, you can't fake embodiment. That's the thing. You have to go through the lesson, the portal, the challenge to get all the wisdom that you're meant to guide other people. And you get to get compensated massively for it because you are the living embodiment of your work. Like, you travel all the time. You're a nomad. You fly wherever you want. You've built this beautiful life. Like, I'm similar. I travel all the time. I'm the embodiment of my work. And so many people that are like, I want freedom. They want it to just be like sunshine and butterflies almost. And they don't want to go through the initiations, but the initiation is the key. Like, the problem is the portal. And I'm curious if you see this in your work, because I've been tracking what the number one thing in entrepreneurs that are on a soul path and have gone through like a challenge that they want to share that holds them back. And what I've seen change, like the fear of telling their story, the fear of what people are going to think, the fear of like, are people going to sign up, and am I good enough? And I always tell them, I'm like, it's not whether you're good enough. We're all good enough. We're all not less worthy. But it's behind that is the fear of telling their story and what happened, because there's so much shame and secrecy around it. And sharing it is what starts to liberate their energy and magnetize people to them, clients to them, and builds that resonance feel of like field of like, oh, like, even my enzyme situation. Sorry that I'm drinking enzymes. You have to take them at a certain time. I joined a detox mastermind a while ago, and which is how I found these. And I joined because the dude's story, like, there were so many cheaper options. There were so many, like, and I was like, he gets it. He has compassion. He's been through it. That's embodiment. He's on the other side. He can guide me. And exactly like you, like being a nomad, building a beautiful family. Like, I haven't met your husband, but I've seen so many photos of you two together. And I'm like, this is divine love. Like, this is sacred union. And like, you are the embodiment of that, and you've gone through, I'm sure, challenges and lessons to get there, so now you can guide other people through that.
And I just love what you said. And I indeed feel so blessed with everything that is in my life. But I also, like, since you mentioned entrepreneurship, I think it's such an important kind of context and talking about this for us entrepreneurs, for us who are building a business, we're a big, like a personal brand, where, you know, the big part of building a personal brand is making yourself be seen. And like being seen as your full self and in all of the nuances that come with it, which are, as you were saying, not just the rainbows and butterflies, but actually the deeper layers to it, which I really love that you brought it up. Like, what I love to say to my clients who are building their business is, you know, especially because so often we're operating from, or we're limited by the fear of being judged, you know, the fear of being visible, the fear of being too much, of sharing, all of those things. And I like to say, you know, you are building your business, but your business is also building you. So it's kind of, you know, the journey of having to go through and actually making yourself vulnerable and sharing your story and sharing what motivates you, sharing the motivation behind your offers, why you do the work that you do, why you care so genuinely about your clients and kind of the impact that you're here to make, is truly helping you to actually rise into the version that you need to be to actually complete that mission. So I feel like what is often holding us back as entrepreneurs is that we feel like we need to be this polished version of ourselves. And we just need to, you know, be perfect, and only then clients will trust us because we have life, you know, figured out, and we have our, you know, everything together. And that's, you know, where we, especially, you know, when we want to position ourselves as the credible expert, the authority, etc., we feel like, okay, what comes with authority and credibility is that we have it figured out. We have the, you know, the piece to the puzzle. And actually, it's about realizing, well, a big portion of connection and kind of the work that I do is very much based on the power of connection with your clients, kind of with the people that you're serving. And a huge part of connection actually comes through showing the vulnerable side of you, making yourself relatable, all of that. Like, so often we're like, how often do you hear like coaches or entrepreneurs, whatever, like content creators say, oh, I want to be a magnet, right? I want to magnetize people and really be the magnet for my ideal client. But then they forget what makes a magnet a magnet. It's not just that you are becoming magnetic to everything and everybody, but a magnet is actually attracting what fits and repelling what doesn't. And by actually sharing your story, by really leaning into your truth and not being afraid from sharing, those shadow sides as well, you're actually creating exactly that effect of attracting what's and repelling what is not meant for you, but then seeing it as a good thing. And that is something that you're missing out, but you're actually really honing into even more your soul mission and the people that you're meant to connect with. So I think that's so important.
100%. It's like polarized marketing, and nobody can connect to a human that's just perfect. Like, we're all human. And it's like, cool, I have the perfect life, and nothing, I never go through any challenges, and people try and market this way and it doesn't work, at least not sustainably, because nobody can connect to it. And you're absolutely right. Like, our shadow, a huge work is shadow integration in the somatic body. Like, not just logically, that too, but in the somatic body. It's these aspects of ourselves that we're like, oh, that's bad, that's not worthy, they're not going to like it. And then we turn into this people pleaser version. And I've noticed in my business, when I'm most magnetic, when I attract the most, even in my life, let's not even talk about business, even life, because business is just a representation of our life. It's just an extension of us. Is when it's like, I'm loving all the parts of me. I'm loving the shadow. I'm loving the things that I deemed were bad. And like, when we start to actually bring these into the light, and this happens in divine union too, and start to love these, that's when the shadow gets integrated. And that's where true power is as well. And I love how you said it's not about magnetizing everything, because for so long, like, a magnet does repel. Polarized marketing, for so long, I was like, oh, like, I have to people please and only be love and light, and like, because I do energy work. But the thing about the light is you bring the light to the shadow. That's where the deepest that's where the shadow integration is. That's where the soul purpose is. That's where our potential sit. That's where our abundance is. And like, I think so many people with, like, it's almost like a manipulative tactic of like the old system was like very based on manipulation, mind manipulation, show that you're perfect, market this way. And the whole, well, even the coaching mentorship industry, somatic healing industry is changing to actual authentic. Because the higher frequency is the highest embodied frequency. The higher frequency than love. And this is where we like really truly connect. Like you said, what would you say about the vulnerability? Brene Brown, I remember like 15, 20 years ago, I found her like speech on vulnerability, and I was like, this is gold. That was like my first entry to personal development. I think I was like 14. And like, it's so true. She did all this research on like people connecting, and people were trying to connect and like go out there when everything's pretty and their life is perfect. It doesn't work that way. We have to go and like act in a messy, quote, messy way, tell our story that's super vulnerable. Like, I remember when I told a story that was so vulnerable and I had so much shame about it, my business like quantum leaped. My life started repelling all the people that were really not in the vibe that was supported, and magnetizing those who actually authentically wanted, like, who liked me for who I was. And like, all the paradigm programming goes completely opposite, because like, I believe, knowing energy, studying energy, working with energy for like 8 years professionally, but let's be honest, since I was like a little girl, white witch since I was a little girl. What was I going to say? Energy. I believe our business is just an extension of our energy field. Like, it's honestly, one of my friends, do you know Kat Norton? Do you know who Kat Norton is?
I'm not sure. No, not yet.
Okay, she has this business called Miss Excel, and it like blew up. Like, she's been on Forbes, she's been on all the things. When I met her 7 years ago, she was maybe 6 years ago, she was having like $100,000 months. I'm like, is this humanly possible? I'm confused. She was like, I work my business, I work on me. My business is just an extension of me. And I'm like, what is this magic? I need to learn
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And as we step into that authenticity of even our desires, how many people have shame about what they desire? Like, our desires are from the divine. It literally translates to of the Father. And I believe they're here because it's the North Star that's actually going to pull us. It's like a soul pull to our
Yeah.
potentials so we
Yeah.
can learn the soul lessons and become that version of ourselves, and the traumas, and get over our quote traumas that we chose as these challenges to learn these lessons. Because those traumas, I'm going to get shot by some people here, but it's all good energetically. The people that on a soul level, do this from a higher perspective, on a soul level, the people who hurt us the most love us the most on a soul level. Like, we create these contracts for them to hurt us. And as somebody who's gone through a lot, this made me so angry when my past mentors would say this. And I was like, and I get it now. I'm like, whoa, if that person didn't play that role, the villain in my story, I would have never gotten catalyzed to this path. I would have never gotten, something happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You can't be in my life. And then, I literally alchemized the trauma. I cleared an imprint from childhood that had so much shame associated, and like it was like so entrapped. And then I was like, oh, actually the energy here is gone, the animosity is gone, and like we can be friends again, and we're like closer than ever. So it's like, and I like saw it. I was like, whoa, this person really loves me on a soul level. Like, our souls create a contract. Even like abuse, this has gone through different types of abuse, like our souls chose that to catalyze us into the growth, because otherwise we don't change as humans unless it's easier to change. Otherwise we wouldn't actually walk this path and do the work, and then we wouldn't be helping others and actually liberating ourselves and families to true freedom, sovereignty from the inside out. That was a lot.
There was so much gold in it though, and kind of a few things that I would love to jump in on as well,
Yes,
because
please.
I feel like you were saying so many things that just landed. And as somebody, that grew up, like you were speaking about childhood, that grew up as the older sister, and kind of, I was a child to immigrant parents that moved to Germany to create a better life. So everything was about, high expectations towards me. Oh, study, get a good university degree, get a good job, all of the things. And I remember as a child, and it's so interesting because I have a lot of lessons that I kind of want to, where you see, okay, this is what I want to pass on to my own children and what I don't want. It's kind of, in this those expectations that sometimes we're being met with already as children, and how it actually it imprints something within us and creates wounds that are becoming scars that we actually have to heal over time. So I was like, having this expectation from early childhood that I have to be the perfect child. I cannot speak up. I should be just, happy with whatever, and just protective of people around me. And I was often the parent to my parents. So I kind of, growing up with that, I developed this very high achiever complex of, being hyper independent, not asking for help, always, showing that everything is fine. Everything is looking good on the outside until, and then going into a career and all of the things, until it actually really came to get me of, I remember I was sitting in a meeting like back in my corporate career, and I was at this point already so burned out, so dealing with like anxiety on a daily basis. And I was sitting in this meeting, and we were doing like a little round of, everybody had to pitch in kind of their input. But the first thing to this was introducing yourself to the room. So I remember I was sitting there, and it was about to be my turn. And I was just sitting there, like my palms sweating, my heart pounding, and I was freaking out because all I could think about was, damn, I don't remember my name. Like, how am I going to introduce myself? I don't remember my name. Like, what am I going to say? And I was completely panicking. So in this moment, I was just so consumed by fear and
Yeah.
by panic that I like just really blanked on what am I called. And that was like a huge, so it started a period of a massive kind of identity crisis and kind of questions of who am I and how can I now connect this past really bubbly, positive, energetic, high achieving version of me to the one that is now feeling so scared, so lost, so socially isolated, and you know, all of the things that came with this massive burnout and anxiety period that started. And for the longest time, I just really had a hard time accepting this side to me. And I was ashamed to bring it up that, you know, this was a part of my story and that actually somebody who considers herself a strong, independent, you know, woman, ambitious, going for her goals and for all of the things, that I felt like I was just completely losing myself.
Yeah.
And you know, when you were saying that, okay, we are actually bringing the light to the shadows, is for me, I just felt this massive liberation when I then wrote a love letter to my burnout. And I was just thanking this experience.
Yeah.
I was just thanking this experience, which was so challenging and that I had such a hard time accepting, as a gift to my life and who I'm supposed to become. Because only through those shadows, only through those challenges, I was actually able to accept parts of me that I did not allow earlier, and also really relate to, okay, what, and figure out what impact do I want to create? Like earlier, you were talking about how love is the highest frequency, and that really gave me goosebumps. Like, I love this.
Wait. Authenticity is higher than love.
Oh, okay.
Which
okay.
is loving all parts. It's exactly what you're talking about. It's loving
Yes.
all parts of ourselves, the parts that we don't see, that we don't deem as worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
So even more to that. It's like really indeed though. So being like really fully allowing ourselves to see ourselves as us. I feel like that's really the foundation of, you know, allowing others to see you for who you are, and allowing others to love you for who you are. It has to start with you, right? Of you accepting parts of yourself, and then not, you know, avoiding those, or not seeing the parts of you that you see as weaknesses really as weaknesses, but actually really seeing them for what they are, those stepping stones into your higher self evolution. And the last thing that you know, I wanted to say that came up for me was kind of what helped me to really lean more into that, especially in moments where I still felt insecure in sharing. I still felt self-judgment and kind of, oh, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
All of those moments when it was scary to actually speak up from this truth because I did not love parts of me enough, was actually to shift the perspective and really lean into the love I have for the people that I want to serve, and not focus on kind of those, you know, those insecure parts of me that actually make me step back and hold back from what I'm here to do, the impact that I'm here to create, but actually really lean into the woman that I want to help to actually get to their next level, and really focus fully on my love to them. And that's what I love to say also now to clients that are, you know, coaches who are building their businesses and working on their offers and the impact that they want to make and feel comfortable in becoming visible. It's kind of shift away, like in those moments where you feel the insecurity, like yes, work through that so that you can love and accept yourself. But in the moments when you're feeling like you're still in that journey, and let's be honest, all of us are still, you know, in our journey to self-love. Just focus on the love that you have for the people that you want to share and get obsessed with them. So
yes, I love that, because if we're not doing it for a greater purpose, like we won't do it. And like we can see versions of ourselves, past versions, sometimes current versions of ourselves in them. We can see them in their greatness, in their power, in their purpose, and actually walking that path. And this is like the purpose of a mentor, is to hold you in that vision and that posture, and hold you accountable when you can't see yourself yet in that freedom, in that path, doing the hard thing. And it's like gives you so much compassion because you're like, you see you in your client. There was something that hit, like gave me goosebumps when you said it. I wanted to touch on. Give me 1 second. Just send back. The panic attack. So I can resonate with that a lot. I used to have panic attacks all the time, like twice a week. I would work at restaurants. I got fired from a restaurant because I had too many panic attacks. And it is from that I need to be perfect, the higher achiever. And then in my business, I was like playing small for a long time. I didn't really have them. It organically grew, but I remember there was this point, and it was a couple years ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, and I just like was trying to do everything myself. Same with you, like felt like you couldn't ask for help because that's weak. This culture we grew up in, especially as women, to not work with our cycles, not honor our energy, just do, and not be able to ask for help. And I think so many women struggle with this. And I remember literally having a breakdown. I was so exhausted, and I got out of the shower and I just lied in my bed and started bawling. I'm like, I cannot keep going. I messaged my mentor. She's like, oh, this is really bad. And I was like, oh. And I couldn't see it in the moment, but after I was like, whoa, because it changed the way I operate in business. It forced me to look at things like, why can't I ask for help? Even though I had a team and my team at the time, it was like I would give tasks, but then I thought was wrong. But I created that energetic because I didn't feel worthy of help, receiving help. Now my team is freaking awesome. Like, you did my website last night. And she's like, I'm going to surprise for you. And I'm like, it's so beautiful. And just creating all the cover. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, helping with the podcast. It's like, I'm like, oh, I had to get comfortable and spot the imprints like you talked about of where I had created belief systems from these imprints, because the trauma happens, we create a belief system from the imprint. The trauma is the imprint. And then it creates this matrix of mind of I can ask for help. And I remember my mom telling me, like, so innocently, but like, never rely on a man, like never rely on anybody else other than yourself. So then I became this strong, independent, like overly masculine woman who, like, on a biological level, first became a woman, and then like all of my charts and like design and all the things and gene keys are all like, I'm like 98% feminine energy, but I had been living in my masculine, and it was affecting my business from like actually scaling. And there was like a sense of like validation I had been getting from doing it all myself. It was like this badge of honor until like I broke. And I was like, my hormones were so messed up. And so like, those moments, it's like, it forces us to have compassion, also tune back into like our natural state of being and work with our energy, with the feminine energy, with the cycles of not like, hustling every day, all day long. Like, dudes are supposed to do that because they have a 24-hour clock, but we have a 28 to 31 day like clock reset. And so when we're trying to operate in this culture like a man on a biological level, we're doing everybody a disservice because then our work isn't even as good. But yeah, it's really these like breakdowns sometimes that breakthrough, because it's like source, God, divinity is like forcing you to look at something that you're just like trying to ignore, and then it's like boom, 2x4, like look at this. And sometimes like hopefully it doesn't get to the point, but this is also where dis-ease of the body starts. When we're not listening, our body, I have a free masterclass on this at the end of the month called Soul Speaks. Our body will be the communication from the soul. It'll be in relationships and finances, and then eventually it'll be a dis-ease of the body, or hormones messed up, or acne, breakout, or allergies. Is one thing I'm working through right now, is healing the root cause of my allergies, and thus this enzyme detox. And like it's so crazy, the root cause of it that I tracked, and the root cause is like and I was on a call with a mentor in Cyprus yesterday, and she like said it, and I was like, I literally like had this download a couple of weeks ago when I was in Calgary. So I went on a horseback riding trip, and I'm really allergic to horses. But the root cause was not feeling safe, being in my full authentic expression, and speaking my truth. And so horses are high frequency. And they bring out the deepest traumas to help you alchemize it, which I didn't even realize until, probably a month ago. I was like, oh, this is why I'm allergic to horses, because they're so high frequency. They're trying to show me where I'm still stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were saying, like, kind of when you brought up the masculine and the feminine, I was just immediately, that just hit and landed, because naturally, if I've really had to look into my natural kind of the energy that I'm, operating in, is very much masculine driven. It's like very much, it's kind of, I guess, rooted in what I grew to believe, how I grew up, how I kind of navigated through life. It was very much this: give me the strategy, give me the roadmap, give me the action steps, and I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to push through it, I'm just going to make it happen, all of the things. And I remember, especially when I started kind of the self-development journey as well as the business journey, I was actually thinking, I have my shit together. I was like, I just need to know the strategy, I just need the action plans, and then I can make it happen. So I felt like I don't need any of that inner work, that mindset work, like, I'm good. And only when actually walking the path and walking the journey, I realized, oh, hold on for a moment. There is actually a lot that can be done. And I exactly noticed those limitations in the moments. Like, I mean, we were earlier talking about, how business is just an expansion of us, and it gives us, I feel like sometimes really puts the spotlight on certain blind spots that we have.
Yes.
Right? And kind of really allowing us to lean more into those, and actually figuring out how we can expand and rise even further into our highest self. So I only like gradually then noticed the absolute importance of actually leaning more into my feminine, but also just doing more of that inner work. And not seeing. And I feel like this is so relevant for like our clients. Let's say they are typically, entrepreneurs, they're coaches that are more in the earlier stages of their business journey. So they are, they're just getting excited, they're starting out, but there are a lot of those limiting beliefs that they're bringing. So I feel like this is exactly often where people are like, okay, but what should I do to make it happen, to make it work? And
the strategy.
Exactly. And a big portion, and I love strategy. Like, I'm a strategy, like I'm a strategy girl. Like, I'm giving our clients all the strategy, but also it's just so important to connect that back to the energy and to the identity work that comes with it as well, especially because whenever we want to do something that we haven't done before, right? And business is just such a perfect example of that, but it can be anything else in your life, like whether it is, to step into a relationship, like a committed relationship, or, to expand your family, become a mother, move to a different country, whatever it is, like whenever you are kind of facing a new chapter in your life, it comes with those doubts. It comes with the self limitations, right? That we see for ourselves. And there, it's so important to kind of realize, oh, this is an opportunity to grow and actually look into where are those coming from? Like, where can I lean in more and actually work through my own upper ceilings and limiting beliefs that I still have. So one book like that came up to me as you were talking, kind of, also mentioning your team and how shifting kind of from this hyper independent to actually really being open and seeing the power of getting help was I don't know, I love Dr. Benjamin Hardy. I don't know if you know him or love his books.
I've heard of him.
So
I've never read his books.
Yeah, so he has like those books, like I love Personality Isn't Permanent, 10x is better than or easier than 2x.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yeah. And another book that is really great by him is called Who Not How. And why I wanted to mention it here is because I feel like especially when we're kind of faced with something that we're scared to do and that feels vulnerable, like maybe as in sharing your story or doing a new thing or kind of asking for help, it's you can ask yourself, okay, if I am not yet feeling fully confident in it, then who, not how, like who can help me and actually making the next step. And I feel like this can be, you know, your peers, but especially also mentors that
Mentorship
see you, that see you before you can fully see yourself, that believe in you before you fully believe in yourself, that has walked the path before you and can actually guide you through it in a faster, more joyful way. So I feel like this is also a big part of when we're talking about, you know, stepping into our soul path and really leaning into that, is to also not feel like you have to walk this journey all on your own by yourself, but there are people that are here to support and to guide you, and that, you know, you don't need to have all of the answers, but you need to be open to actually look for who can help you get to those answers.
100%, because there's wisdom when somebody is like a mentor carries wisdom, embodied wisdom, like you said, that when we're alone on the path, and I've been alone on the path, like the beginning, like, whoa, I almost always now have a mentor, sometimes two. I currently have two private ones and then a mastermind. Anyways, all the support, because I'm worthy of it. We're all worthy of it. It's just a choice. And everyone's like, well, she's lucky. No. I make the choice, and then I call in the abundance. Most of the time, it's not always liquid, that it's just there. I did a whole podcast on this. Like, I was like, I'm forcing a quantum leap. I joined a mastermind. Actually, one of the women who spoke at the event we were at, but I missed her speech. Anyway, it was the weirdest synchronicity, paid in full. And then there was another mentor that I found, and I was like, dang, I think I'm supposed to work with her. And then I was traveling, and I was like, this is a lot of expenses in a month. And I was like, I'm gonna make it happen, God, and God literally over delivered. So anyways, want to pin that. But mentorship is so key, because it's, for me, there's a level of accountability that it's like, okay, now I'm investing, like I see money as a current of energy. If I'm investing in a mentor, I'm like putting my current energy into that and into the vision that they are helping me co-create. And they've walked the path, and they're still walking the path, which means that they're going to be able to mirror. It's not like, oh, I'm better. It's like power to power. Mirror nuances that I can't see yet, or shadow aspects that I can't see yet, that are have been unconsciously holding me back. And there was something really profound that you said. I'm going to spin back again, that I really want to touch on. Freedom. Oh, the strategy. Okay, this one gets me every time. Every time, like, our soul has our strategy. Our specific strategy isn't supposed to come from anybody else. Our soul holds the keys. But the strategy comes when we work through the inner blocks. I kid you not. Every single time I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use this strategy, and like, or the strategy I used on the last launch, it never works. My soul is like, no, there's another initiation for you here. It's an inside out world. Work through this energy, clear this imprint, or like notice this energetic, shift this energetic. Like there's a soul lesson. And then boom, it's like the retreat is filled. Or boom, I'm starting like a healing school in February. People do an application. Like, and it's like, it's always like nothing to like 4 people sign up or 10 people. And you're like, it's an inside out game, man. Even with money. Like anytime I'm like, how can I logic? It doesn't work. And then I remember one short incident. My dad called me a spoiled little brat once because I had pissed him off. And it like hit me on such a deep level. I think I was 13. And from that moment, I became like the stingiest person ever. And that trauma had been running my life. And I was like, I could never be in any sort of overflow. Like, it was like, and I like literally lived off rice and beans. Like, I got really sick. It was not good. And like bananas and peanut butter. Now I live a very different life, but that imprint was so big. And then I had like my biggest I had a 20K day the next day, and I was like, that's how much I make in a year. I'm like, this is magic. And I wasn't even launching anything is the crazy thing. It was like, God was like, you got it, because I shifted that. And I was like, oh, I am worthy. And I started tracking all the times I thought I was not worthy. And I literally decided I was worthy and anchored to that. And then boom. But here's the thing, there was a breakdown in that process because I had to go feel that trauma. And I felt that grief of that little girl. And I gave her energetically what she needed. And then it was like, God was like, you passed the test. Like Amanda Francis talks about this, like of how she gets passed in her like spirit team is like, yes, you got it. I'm like, this is how it works. So I love like that you said that because I was like, oh my goodness, yes, because so many people are like, what's the strategy? Well, there's a bazillion strategies and they all work, but none of them work if we don't do the inner work. And this is where I think when people are like, oh, here's just like the A to Z strategy and it works for some people and not for other people. It's because of the paradigms, those limiting beliefs, the energy body. It's like, what are we repelling? If we're repelling money, like you talked about the magnet, none of the strategies are going to work. For magnetizing money, all the strategies are going to work, or no strategy. Like sometimes I don't have a strategy. I should probably not say this on here. People are like, what's the strategy? God. Following the breadcrumbs, the nuggets, and listening to God and trusting myself and my intuition, and then working through all of the energetic blocks and imprints and stories that I created that aren't true. That's it. That's my strategy.
This is so good. This is so good. And it, makes me think of kind of this phenomena of, we all, like you were saying it just now, like there are a gazillion strategies that can get you from point A to point B and they all work, right? But what it makes kind of, you give the same strategy to two different people. And one is like fully running with it and like having the biggest overflow and making it happen versus the other one is just continuing to feel stuck. Like, what's the difference? And it's really that full embodiment, that being open for receiving, being open for actually really leaning into this work, doing the inner work that you were saying, and I feel like it's it's human. I feel like sometimes we're just getting a little impatient. We're like, when things are happening in our life and we feel like, oh, this is slowing me down, or why does this need to happen in my life, or this is ruining my plans, or anything that is just coming as a perceived negative into our world, we're getting impatient. We're like, oh, I don't need this. We're getting, we're coming with this energy of repelling and of resenting kind of the stage that we're in right now. And when I'm saying this, I'm not speaking from a point of, I'm so perfect at that, because I feel like this is challenging and this is hard. And it's still something that I'm working through at times. But what I've also seen is how big of a momentum you can actually get and how things can exponentially really, as you were saying, like, happen for you, is if you actually be fully here, be fully present for the current chapter in your life.
Yes.
Not only kind of look into, oh, what is the lesson here, which is important to ask, like, what's the lesson here, but also in appreciating and actually, earlier as I was mentioning, kind of the love letter to your burnout, actually seeing the situation that you're in as a gift and asking yourself, how can it really help me grow? And how can I, like, even just in the simplest form, talking about it, right? It's like kind of what I really believe in is, I think a lot, like the most powerful kind of content or how we put ourselves out is actually taking the right people with us on our journey and actually living life and then sharing our life and really being an embodied example of what it means to actually go through the ups and the downs, really making yourself like coming back to the authenticity piece of, like, showing the full part of us.
Okay, so thank you for bringing this up because I started my business like in corporation 3 years ago. I've been doing like energy healing for like 8 years, but it was like kind of, wasn't like full in. So 3 years ago incorporated, and I went through like many initiations, leaps, and then I started to thrive and I was sharing everything. And everything was so magnetic. my courses were exploding, and then I got in a relationship. And this man was such a big soul lesson in so many ways. But he was like, you can't share your life. You can't share where you are. That's dangerous. Like, people are going to think you're like conceited. I'm like, I'm not sharing for like an ego. I'm sharing to show them what's possible. Like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I was like in such deep scarcity and fear and sick and all the things, like had physical healing, financial, like all the things. And so I stopped sharing. And my business, like I saw it on a graph during that period. It was like the highest, and then it was like, and I was like, what is this? It created so much secrecy around my life and shame. And I was like, I can't tell people where I'm going. And I'm like literally traveling across the world, but like I can't share this. And even after the relationship, I had to unravel so much of it. And now I'm just like, here's my life. This is what's possible for you. I'm not special. Like, these are energetic codes. They're cosmic laws. If you implement them and if you get into the right energy, which how do you do that? Trauma alchemy. And so like it was literally crazy, and I didn't realize how much shame I had because of like his comments, which is so interesting because it mirrored my comments of my parents when I was younger. So he was just like the mirror of like those imprints. And then my business completely shifted again when I started sharing, and like, but not from a place of ego, from a place of like, this is literally possible for everybody. And like, it was like, it started to become fun again. I like launched a membership, and I was like, the business gets to be fun. But I lost that energy for a while because I was so afraid. And like, I remember I would record podcasts, and I was like in Egypt for one, and I was like, oh, I can't speak Egypt. Like, it was like so much secrecy, which is the frequency of shame and guilt, because I'm like, well, but what if other people like get angry and like I'm gonna feel guilt? And I'm like, no, I'm showing them that it's possible for them. It's the law of one. What's possible for one is possible for all, and that's it. And it was like this took me like 8 months to work through. I remember my business coach was like, well, would you like, I can't remember what she said, but it was like, it shifted my paradigm. She's like, well, would you believe like I created this life if I didn't show it on social media? And I was like, well, no, but like you can show it, but like I can't. Like, just all of these like constructs that I was unaware of. Like, I didn't realize I was doing it, but such a key to soul line business. It is. It's that here's what's possible. I think a lot of people get stuck with that because of like what their parents said or like what their partner's saying, because like I did. And we have to remember that it's not about us at the end of the day. I remember doing a meditation like a little bit ago, and I was like, there was like all these like people that really inspire me, these women who have created like 7-figure plus businesses and are living like in like such like flow and inspiration, and not like slaves to their businesses. And I was like, higher self, like, show me a key I'm missing. And they were like, higher self was like, they realize it's not about them. It's literally showing people what's possible by their embodiment. And you're so afraid to show people what's possible because you think like it's going to make people angry or jealous, or jealousy was a big one. Like, I can't shine my light, or but you have to realize you're showing them what's possible, and a part of their unconscious, even if they do get jealous, is like, wait, why can she do that? Like, maybe I can do that. And that's how I even discover these like universal codes of abundance and wealth and freedom. When we're seeing other people live a life, and I'm like, how is that possible? God didn't say it's possible for them and not us. Like, what? Why do we lie to ourselves about these things? Anyways, oh goodness. Yeah.
I love that you brought up ego and kind of, not sharing from your ego, but actually really from, this deeper excitement or, authenticity. And again, the love for the people that you're sharing it for. And I feel like this is like such a huge shift and liberation that we can give to ourselves if we're kind of moving away from the should. And often I feel like ego is rooted in the what should I do so that it looks good? What should I talk about so that it resonates? What should I share so that I am liked and that I'm not too much?
Yeah.
And then you're just dimming your light, right? You're kind of watering down your message. You're diluting yourself, and you're just trying to blend in. but we forget that, like essentially when you're building a business or when you want to create the life that you're here meant to live, like that requires a level of self-leadership. And leaders are those that are going first. And leaders are those that are not afraid to actually stand up for their truth. And that can mean ruffling some feathers along the way. And it's actually a good sign that you're really doing, like that you're showing up as the leader. But that's not kind of rooted in ego, but actually in really authenticity and pure conviction and excitement of the work that you're here to do. And actually, what I love to tell our clients when they're kind of coming with the doubts and the fear of really making themselves feel heard and seen is like, okay, let's shift away from the shoulds and let's shift away from what would look good or what you should do to actually what would make you feel pure excitement. And what feels real and true to you. And kind of leaning more into that conviction. And I feel like looking at my own journey in business as well is the biggest moments of, you were earlier talking about the 20K months. And, so our first like 20K months came from when we actually really allowed ourselves to fully get excited about the work that we do and share more about that and really lean more into that. And not operate from what would look good, but who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What feels true to me? And like really seeing that, with your presence online, you are creating your stage. Like this, like when you're creating a business, when you're creating a platform, when you're creating, whatever, Instagram, it's like your stage to be who you want to be and really create the narrative that you want to create. So I think that's so powerful. And I hope that it's picking up here with the background noise. I hope it's not.
I think it's fine. And then on the podcast we can
I will try to move.
Okay. Firstly, if anyone's like, was that a gunshot? No, it was not. It was a cannon because it's 11:11. The 11:11 portal. Yes, I had a download a few years ago where I was like, how do I know? I asked my higher self, I'm like, how do I know where divine support is? Like, how do I know where I'm meant to put my focus attention, what I'm supposed to launch, how I'm supposed to, like, all the things. And I heard so clearly, inspiration, what's inspiring you and then I heard in spirit, like there's divine support. Spirit is supporting you where the energy is, where you're inspired to put your energy. And I think this is like something that so many entrepreneurs, it's like we're so trained to be so logical, but it's like those moments where like, I'm so excited about this. It's the frequency. And then other people get excited. That's where you have divine support. That's where you become, and it's not about the statistics or the metrics of I had whatever month. That's just the feedback of like you're in alignment or you're not in alignment. So I love that you said that. Something else came through when you were talking too that I really wanted to highlight. Oh my goodness.
I just love what you said about the inspiration and kind of in spirit and really seeing what's true. Oh, I never thought about it this way, but it's so good. It's actually really in the term itself, which is so powerful.
Yes, I know. I'm obsessed with etymology, and that one was in a meditation, so I didn't like look it up, but I look up etymology all the time. I'm like, whoa, words have codes. And it's like, I even tell clients, I'm like, well, let's scan, another cannon. Let's scan your body. Like, where's the energy? Where's energy stuck that needs to be alchemized? Hi, Tally. Where's energy stuck that needs to be alchemized? And then where is they're like, well, what do I do? And I'm like, well, where's the energy for the launch? Let's tap into where the excitement is, but also where's the resistance? Because often the excitement and resistance are together, and where there's resistance is a portal to not only our growth, but our potentials to like the greatest launch quote you could have, or the quantum leap in the business. But it's the thing often that we don't want to do because we think it's
100%.
scary or think it's bad or we're like, I'm not good enough. But that's often the thing. There's still energy there. So I tell people if it's dull energy, it's a soul no. If it's energy, the I'm so excited, inspiration, or ooh, there's energy here, there's resistance. Well, there's an opportunity, and the excitement's on the other side of that. Like confidence is earned. Embodied confidence comes from courage. And so, yeah, I love that because it's in this world, we're all just here to grow and expand and like entrepreneurship, creating a life of freedom. Our legacy is truly just is truly about us expanding as souls and becoming our full authentic versions and loving all parts of ourselves and seeing each other, seeing ourselves in another, whether they're a client or like somebody that we're in a mastermind with or a mentor. It's like we're all just mirrors. And the key, like there's always experience of like growth at each level of business, each level of like friendship, relationship, whatever it is. It's like, but we avoid often the thing where the growth is, and that's exactly where we need to go.
Oh, I love that so much, and it makes me think of just really the reminder of being in it for the journey itself, being in it for the growth itself, not focusing only on the outcome and kind of who we want to eventually be and rise to, or kind of the result that we want to achieve, but getting obsessed with the process of actually getting there and seeing that as the goal itself and seeing the growth as actually the win itself, regardless, like detached from the outcome that it will bring us to. And I feel like leaning into that energy of gratitude for the present moment and gratitude for the growth and appreciation for our evolution is such a natural expander and such a natural kind of stepping stone to then automatically, almost like naturally, call in the result itself, because we are working then in full tune, like attuned and in alignment to actually the lessons that we are being given and kind of the soul path that we're on. And I feel like I just earlier said it to you, like it's crazy that we planned this conversation on like today. It's 11:11. Really?
Right before.
And we said, and we did that without actually even like with unintentionally. But I noticed it early, and I was like, oh, this is just the most beautiful kind of coincidence of having this conversation here, because 11:11, like the angel number, the kind of the biggest day for manifestation, is just such a beautiful reminder of kind of realigning with ourselves, with our truth, and kind of awakening that next version of ourselves, which we all know with manifestation and calling in all of those beautiful things in our life starts with appreciating what we have first, so that we can really grow from there, and showing gratitude for what is already here, and then saying, hey, universe, thank you, more please. But operating from this energy, operating from momentum that is then bringing us further, rather than resentment of where we're in, or the hardships or the challenges or the current stage of life that we're here to navigate through. So I feel like that was just such a beautiful setting for our conversation today, to do it on this day.
That's it. And it like can come so organically and spontaneously. It's like, hey, what are we talking about? We've had a little chat, and then it was like, boom, we got our code. This is how it can work if we're in alignment. And like, sorry, the cannon just keeps going off. It's very distracting. How many times is it going off? November 11th. This is why. So the following the soul path, and wait, you said, can you repeat what you said right before spontaneity or right after?
So being obsessed with the journey itself.
Oh, yes. So the void, like the breakdown is often, or the challenge is often where the wisdom comes. And this is how we get to embody gratitude, is like, oh, I had to go through that, or I'm in this because there's some wisdom here. And it doesn't need to last that long. Sometimes it's like 20 minutes just grief, and you're like, oh, you see the world so differently, and you get the code, you get the key. And yeah, because I think the resentment comes from, at least looking at this, whenever I have resentment, it comes from this shouldn't have happened, or this is bad, versus this is happening for us, this is happening for me. And then getting the wisdom from there. And gratitude is the highest form of receivership. So when we're grateful for what we want, then so much more comes. It's like you said, like, thank you, more please, show me how good it can get. And I think some people unconsciously, and I know I've been there before, are like, oh, I want the money, or I want the travel, or I want the partner, or I want the, work through a lot of this with a partner, with like, I'm on my journey to calling in my true beloved. And for a while, I was like a little bit resentful. And then I was like, wait, there's lessons here. And when I started learning the lessons, I was like, oh, I was giving my power away to this makes me worthy, or this makes me feel, it was more, this makes me feel special. But I see this with money too, or business. Like, we sometimes unconsciously attach our self-worth to a launch and whether people sign up or not. And when we're doing it from that place, instead of like enjoying the journey, like you said, and being in gratitude and doing it for the purpose of actually being the embodiment of our work and helping liberate other people, firstly, we're way more magnetic. But secondly, we can actually enjoy it and be present. If we're doing it just for a metric, or if we're doing it just from a core wound of, I need this to feel worthy, or to show the people from elementary who bullied me, or whatever it is, right? We all have our own stories. For me, it was junior high. I wasn't bullied though, elementary, but junior high it was. Anyways, then it'll source, God, our higher self will literally block the success. And once we heal that wound and go through, and we're like, oh, we're worthy, and that person said I wasn't worthy, and why did I give so much power to that? We claim our power back and our like soul fragment back. Then all of a sudden we don't care about their validation, and then everything gets magnetized to us. And so it's like, this is where it's a growth journey, because these things will come up in a launch of, oh, I'm not worthy because they didn't sign up, or this person said they wanted to sign up and they didn't, and or this person had a bigger launch, and we outsource our power. It's showing us where we've outsourced our power, so we have to call back our power first, and then we get the thing that we're trying to manifest, which is only the cherry on top, because it's the journey, and we can actually enjoy the thing then and be present with the thing, versus if we're like, oh, I need this, and we're trying to like manipulate and grasp, which is like so old paradigm and not useful. And those energetics are crumbling as we step into authenticity and community and sovereignty and true freedom from the inside out, including the external, but it starts with the inside, because we get to have that too. Then we're like, oh, it was like literally, even business sometimes is like just a mirror to show us where we're still trapped, where we're still outsourcing our power, our sovereignty. And like, what a beautiful journey. And this is why I think like courses, mentorship, retreats, community are so important. And okay, I know you have an offering you want to share. We both do. So I think this is a perfect time to share your upcoming offering, and then I'll share mine.
Yes, I feel like we could continue for hours.
I know, we need to do another one.
So, like, one thing leads to the other, and I feel like there are just things we can just go on and on and on. And I'm just so excited always when I talk about this topic. So I love talking to you. Again, thank you for having me. So like what's happening right now in our world, we actually right now, end of November, if somebody feeling called to kind of dive deeper into really leaning into their power, into their value, into really believing the transformation that they're here and not only accomplish, like live through themselves, but actually that they want to bring it into the hands of other people. And so it's a mini experience that we're hosting. It's called Wanted. And I'm just so obsessed with it because we're running it for the second time. And the first time was so epic that we decided we want to do this again at the end of the year. So now this is happening, and Wanted is essentially all about, so this is for the new and rising coaches who want to really feel confident about that they're offered, that they're valued, that the work that they do is wanted. So it's all about offer positioning. We're diving into how can you really articulate the message, the impact that you're here to make in a way that people feel like, oh, I exactly see what you're doing. I see your story, and it's so deeply landed, and that they see that it is for them. So this is for the new and rising coaches who are already showing up. They're doing the work. They're talking about their offers. They're making themselves visible, but they're feeling like, if I'm doing all of the right things, why are the results not happening to me? So this is where we actually really dive in deeper, refine and position their offers, their values, so that it stops the scroll and people feel like, yes, this is for me, and they lean in.
Yes.
So if somebody's interested in that, I mean, the easiest way is to connect anyways on Instagram at Generation Nomad. And just DM me once if you want to learn more about that, but also in general, just come and say hi on Instagram. And I'm just really, I love kind of having those connections online and see where you are at in your soul path journey and in your journey of really making your, put out your offer and your unique gifts and strengths to the world.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that so much. I'll make you a collab on this as well. So it'll be on your page so you can find Anastasia there. And then on the podcast, I will get your links from you directly. So send me after, please. And that's such a beautiful offering because it's literally it's the embodiment. It's the plug and play of everything we talked about. And it really is the inner work. So I will share. This has been so fun, Anastasia. Thank you for doing this with me. We should do another one at some point. Such a blessing to meet you and connect with you. So, okay, I have a couple offerings. I have a free one. I have a free masterclass at the end of this month, at the end of November, broadcasting from Sedona. It's called Soul Feel from Your Soul. I'm going to be explaining how the body communicates. It's the body and any ailment, dis-ease, pain, trauma, trigger is literally communicating. It's your soul communicating to you where you're not free, where you're out of alignment, etc., and how to actually heal in a holistic way and a natural way. So that the ailment or the injury, etc., because they're just communications from the soul, will actually sustainably heal. I'm also going to be talking about finances, how those are reflections, and how those are, again, showing you where you're still not free, and how to shift that to call in higher levels of abundance, prosperity, wealth, create wealth, as well as relationships, how those are mirrors. We might go into animals being mirrors, I'm not sure. So at the end of the month, it's free. The link's in my bio. The other offering I want to share is my in-person retreat. It is in Canada on the Sunshine Coast at the end of May 2026. It's on EarlyBird till the end of November. Miracles happen at these retreats. It's called the Prosperity Portal Retreat. They are somatic healing, stepping into your full authentic expression, clearing shame. They're so much fun. We alchemize trauma on a cellular level and an energetic level, which is like the biggest key that most people miss because they're just trying to do it through the mind. Mind reprogramming is very powerful, but the somatic body, holy Toledo, when you shift the core imprints, like, get ready. The links in bio to apply for that is application based. You can look at the testimonials. There's so many testimonial videos of like miracles, like people manifesting 100 grand miraculously, synchronicities. This is how it works. Soulmate relationships, citizen in record time, healing ailments, those physical injuries, deepening in union. What else? Woman, I don't know if this is on one of the testimonials, but it was live. She manifested a record deal after one. Like just crazy, crazy, crazy things. So highly recommend that. Oh, promotions, raises, manifesting dream houses, multiple people, cars. So anyways, it's on the landing page. I also podcast with some of the people. It is probably the last one of this sort I'm doing. Everything is included. We have an amazing holistic chef. It is such a vibe. It's a small, intimate container. There'll be 13 people max, including me. So Yeah. You can head to the link in bio to apply for that. EarlyBird ends, the EarlyBird discount ends at the end of the month, as I said. If you have any questions or if you want me to do a free mini intuitive read to see if it's in alignment, and if you're like, oh, I want to come, I feel the pull, trust that. But XYZ, my brain's telling me I can't come, I can do a mini read for you for free and just share what's coming through and like some tools to, alchemize those blocks. So the blocks literally just like here. Okay, and that's it.
Yes. I love that, like the excitement that you're sharing your offers with. I feel like that's just, the kind of the exactly what we were talking about just on this life, and when you're fully leaning into doing work that you feel like is truly you, allowing yourself to lean into authenticity, how kind of your energy becomes contagious. And I just wanted to say that how I love that about you and about the work that you do. And again, thank you so much for having me today and for this beautiful conversation and for sharing the space and energy with me. I truly loved it, and I hope that whoever was tuning in, like whether live or on replay, can really kind of walk away with just a reminder that it's not about being perfect or having things figured out, but it's actually really leaning into the moment and leaning into the challenge and using that as something that accelerates you further, like exponentially more than what you even thought possible. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for doing this with me. I just adore you. And also, I just want to share one last key for everybody. Thank you for saying that about my offers, because like I made a choice that I was like, I'm not launching an offer unless I have so much energy behind it, unless I would join it in a heartbeat, unless like I truly love it and I know the impact of the difference. And it shifted so much in my business, because like for a bit I was like obligation, and I was like, and I'm like, no, like I want to share what I would want to join. Like if I was in somebody else's body, that I would do in a heartbeat. So I really do. I do love my offers, and I think that is an important key for us to. I could see the excitement with you sharing yours, and like how connected you are to it on a soul level of the impact of that. It's such a big key for a soul line business, because if we don't love it, then we're not going to have that energy behind it. And this is like the portal, the vortex that people are stepping into, like feeling the pull to that offer. And the last thing I just quickly want to say is, if anybody, because people have asked me about these enzymes before, and I just thought I'm just talking with them. I have a discount code. They're really powerful. They're from Tibet. So if anybody has any questions, you can DM me. I'll send you the discount code. This is my third cleanse of this, and it literally changed my life, my gut, my liver. The last one that I did, like so much shifted. So if you have questions, because I referred it to a number of people, but I didn't have a discount code, and now I do. Affiliate links, guys. Duh. All the abundance, then let me know. Thank you so much for coming on. I love you. I adore you. Send me the link so when we put it on the podcast, I have that. And this will be on the replay for anybody who wants to come back and listen. Big hugs.
I will. Thank you so much. Speak soon. And I love you too.
I love you so much. Okay, we'll do this again sometime on a different topic. Big hugs. And I'm so excited for your offering. Check out her Minimind, guys. Is it in the link in your bio?
Excuse me?
Is the Minimind link in your bio, or how do they?
Oh, yeah. So currently the link is not in our bio because it's leading to our free offer, but I will send it to you, and then you can maybe include it in the show notes.
Yes. Okay. Sounds good.
And it's landing now on Instagram on our page. Like you can just DM wanted, and then
wanted. Yes. Okay. I was about to say chosen. Okay. DM her wanted if you feel the pull to the Minimind, and you can get the info if you're watching this on podcast. We will link that in the podcast. Okay. Big hugs. I'll see you soon. Beautiful day. Bye.
Hello, Sacred Soul. I hope you loved that episode. And if you did, I would so appreciate if you could share and tag me on the social medias at Jill Alana Nixon. And if this brought you value, I would be eternally grateful if you could leave a 5-star review. And if you did, take a picture and email it to teamjillalana@gmail.com, and we will gift you a free cord cutting soul revival mini activation, a jai activation. Put that in the show notes, the email, and thank you so much. We will see you again next week on the Prosperity Portal podcast.